For decades, Thomas the Tank Engine has been a symbol of childhood. A friendly blue engine with a big smile and an even bigger legacy. From books to television, toys to trains, he's done it all. But one of the most magical ways Thomas came to life was through theme parks. From the UK to Japan, America to Australia, there have been Thomas themed lands, rides and even entire events built just for his fans. But over the years, many have closed, rebranded or vanished completely. So what happened? In this video, we're going to take you on a journey through the evolution of Thomas the Tank Engine theme parks, from their rise in the 90s to the uncertain track they're on today. While Thomas originated in the UK, the first full-fledged Thomas Land opened in Japan in 1998, part of the Fuji-Q Island theme park. It was a bright, cheerful space with a soft pastel colour scheme, child-friendly rides and faithful recreations of Sodor. From Harold's helicopter ride to the Thomas and Percy railway track, it gave fans a chance to step into the show. The Japanese version even had themed food, interactive experiences and characters who weren't as well known in the West, like Hero, who became a major part of the Japanese Thomas fandom. In the UK, fans had to wait until 2008 for a permanent Thomas Land, this time at Drayton Manor Park in Staffordshire. It opened with much fanfare and featured 11 themed rides, including Troublesome Truck's Runaway Coaster, Jeremy Jett's Flying Academy and Cranky's Drop Tower. Drayton Manor's Thomas Land wasn't just a ride, it was a world. And for British fans, it felt like Thomas had finally come home. While Japan and the UK were building Thomas Lands, North America took a different approach, one rooted in steam railways and nostalgia. Day Out with Thomas. Starting in the late 1990s, Heritage Railroads began hosting special Thomas events where real locomotives were fitted with Thomas faces. Kids could ride with Thomas, meet Sir Topham Hatt, and explore stations turned into Sodor-themed villages. These events were cheaper to produce than permanent theme park lands and taped into existing rail infrastructure, and because they moved around or only ran seasonally, they created urgency, a magical weekend that came and went like a puff of smoke. By the mid-2000s, over 250,000 families were attended Day Out with Thomas annually across North America. However, permanent Thomas theme parks in the US would eventually arrive. In 2015, the small Edaville Family Theme Park in Massachusetts launched its own Thomas Land USA. The 11-acre expansion included 11 rides, character statues, and even a Thomas-themed narrow-gauge railway that circled the entire park. It was the first major Thomas Land outside Japan or the UK, and for American fans, it was a dream come true. Edaville, however, was not the first American theme park to trial a Thomas theme park. Between 2007 to 2010, Six Flags had a Thomastown area at several of their parks. These were not major Thomas lands, but smaller Thomas theme parks. This unfortunately came to an end when Six Flags filed for bankruptcy and had to drop the Thomas license. This was not the end of the Thomastown name though, because in 2018, Kennywood in Pennsylvania introduced Thomastown after they made a partnership with Mattel. Kennywood's Thomastown did share some similarities with Edaville's Thomas Land, however these were not 100% the same. Excluding Six Flags, all of these Thomas Lands were thriving, but in the late 2010s things started to decline. Drusillus Park, who had a small Thomas train attraction, was given notice by Mattel in 2015 that they would not be renewing the Thomas license with Drusillus because of Drayton Manor's success, and Mattel wanted to focus all their investment on that one location in the UK. So on January 7th, 2017, the Thomas train in Drusillus was craned out and was rebranded. This was not the end of the decline of Thomas theme parks. A dispute between Mattel and Edaville happened. Mattel were giving Edaville lack of support and refused to let them buy Thomas merchandise for their gift shop from third-party wholesalers, where it would be more cost efficient for them. There was even a dispute with Mattel refusing to open Thomas Land for an autistic person, and claimed that they did not want Mattel or the Thomas brand to be involved with the autistic community, which offended many, as Thomas has a big presence in the autistic community. But what made the two companies get so heated between each other was when Mattel gave the Thomas license to Kennywood in Pennsylvania to make a Thomastown theme park. Even more so, Mattel were only promoting Kennywood's Thomastown on their social media and never promoted Edaville's Thomas Land, which hurt Edaville's ticket sales. After a lengthy lawsuit and financial trouble caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, Edaville made an announcement in 2022 that Thomas Land would not be reopening and their association with the Thomas the Tank Engine brand had come to an end. However, this eventually changed as Edaville renewed their license with Mattel to bring back the Day Out with Thomas events, and the Day Out with Thomas narrow gauge dummy model came back to do runs for Day Out with Thomas in the summer. As for the Thomas Land area itself, the rides and attractions were rebranded to fit in with Edaville's branding. Thomas Land UK and Thomas Land Japan are both still standing, however, have both had some significant changes. For example, Thomas Land in the UK has had some rebranding to fit in with the All Engines Go franchise, including a new ride. Thomas Land in Japan has had older rides removed and replaced with newer characters, including All Engines Go characters. Aside from that, the future of both of those Thomas Lands at those theme parks seems pretty bright. Mattel have still been putting a lot of investment into those parks, so I say their future is okay. As for the United States, as it currently stands, there are no official Thomas theme parks, but don't count Thomas out just yet. In 2025, Mattel Adventure Park is set to open in Arizona, and yes, Thomas is part of the plan. However, after looking at images of this new theme park, it seems this new Thomas area is going to be heavily All Engines Go themed. It is suggested that a few of the Drayton Manor styled rides will be there, however, the branding itself is definitely going to be All Engines Go by the sound of what Mattel has been marketing it as. From countryside railways to colourful theme park lands, Thomas the Tank Engine has brought generations of children into the world of trains, teamwork and timeless stories. While many of his stops have closed, the journey isn't over. Whether it's a fleeting ride at a heritage railway or a new adventure at Arizona, Thomas still has steam in his boiler, because as long as there are children who dream of engines and adventure, there will always be a place for Thomas somewhere down the track. Hope you enjoyed this video, everybody, and if you want more Thomas theme park related content, make sure to put it in the comments below. This is Ethan from Ready Fortune Studios, and don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye!